Hello, welcome back for part 4 of our Civ 5 Deity playthrough as the Ottomans. Pretty much just got 4 goals for this part. We'll try and do as much as we can. Number 1, we're going to try and take back Ankara. Number 2, we're going to try and wait until Constantinople is back to being out of resistance and put it in a position where it can at least kind of defend itself from Byzantium. Number 3 is get back into profit because we're seriously threatening to run out of money at this point. And number 4 is to potentially swing around with our newly acquired sea beggars and try to capture as many Dutch ships as possible, because I don't really want to be constructing military units anymore. I think it's a good time to try and potentially snatch a few from the Dutch. Saves us from having to build our own, so it makes perfect sense. Plus they have access to better ships than we do, so a little bit of a no-brainer. Okay. Great profit I'm going to hang back on for now. I think we should really avoid using this guy until we actually have enough faith to buy something. So we could buy a monastery from Medern with 250, I think. I think it's 220. But I think it makes sense to try and hold out till we get 300 faith. If we were to take the Hague, then firstly we get truffles and whales, which is good for our happiness. And then secondly, we can actually take our great general and we can kind of steal Mount Kailash here, which is a bit of extra happiness and a good supply of faith too. But I'm not sure we really need the Hague. It's not a massive city, and if we took it over it would only have 4 population. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it plays out. Definitely an option, something I'm at least considering. And we'll just go to the next turn. So it's going to be kind of difficult to return to profit while we're still at war with the Netherlands, because best way to return to profit, of course, would be to... What just happened there? I think it was the Polish missionary. Best way to return to profit would be... Actually, I'm not going to... No, I should accept this. Best way to return to profit is going to be to re-establish some trade routes, but that is just a little bit risky because we know that our navy is probably still not really a match for the Dutch, and so they could easily just destroy and plunder our trade routes as soon as we establish them, making it kind of pointless. Fortunately, though, for now at least, Byzantium still seems to be spreading her religion. And that's very much something we want, at least in the short term, until we get our pagodas and our monasteries and our cathedrals ready. Sea Beggar's going to need some time to heal up, so let's go ahead and focus on that, and everything else we're just going to start moving around towards Ankara. We are going to need to have a pretty decent force to hold off the frigates and things like that, which are presumably going to appear pretty soon. So we still need to wait until the Janissary gets some HP back, and we are going to need more than just this to push in Ankara, so I might have to risk moving at least one more unit over in this direction. But I want to keep at least this crossbowman and this Janissary here, along with the Galleass. Those 3 together, once we build a few walls and maybe a castle in Constantinople, will hopefully be enough to fend off any potential attack from Byzantium. And one thing we can at least say about Byzantium is we pretty much are going to have a very good idea of exactly what she has. We can pretty much see all of the territory she has left, so she can't really hide too much. Embargo the Ottomans, I didn't realise that was something they were voting on. And we don't know if that's going to happen. If it does happen, it's not the end of the world, because internal trade routes are really strong, but it's going to be really bad for our attempts to make money. But something else that's pretty bad about that is it pretty clearly demonstrates that that Poland is not as friendly to us as they appear, which we kind of already knew, but now we know for sure. And we would definitely like accuracy on this particular unit. One thing I should also check is exactly what upgrades these have. So it's Coastal Raider 2 and Supply, which is going to be really nice. We can actually heal up outside of friendly territory. So could actually go out immediately and start healing up once we get around to Eden, but I think for now it's going to be safer if we just stay put in Istanbul and try and recover best we can while we're still relatively safe. Heal the trireme up too, and let's just send the Galleasses over, ready to mobilize. And Trebuchet, I believe, is in full HP. Or is it? I can't really tell. Yeah, but we can't really risk moving towards Ankara. So unfortunately, Ankara is going to be able to fight us off. It's going to start acting against us. Would have been best, of course, to try and take it back while it's still in resistance, but truth is we just didn't have the forces around, so that was never really going to happen. Casimir is secretly plotting against William, and there appears to be an army going out for a sneak attack. That's very interesting. Let's... we can't actually tell William. Fine. And it's going to take 31 turns for him to steal something from Warsaw, which is probably too long, but given that he's only rank 1, we'd probably be pretty much just as slow if we tried to move over to Amsterdam at this point, so I think we just have to accept that. And then this Janissary is just going to go in defensive stance. And I think that's pretty much all we can do, to be honest. We're now down to 0 trade routes. Trying to think if there's any faster way to get this happiness up. I don't really think there is. I could have maybe tried to trade pearls to someone else. I'm not sure if I still have spare pearls or not. I will actually have a look. Let's have a look at the diplomacy overview and let's see if anyone actually has anything spare. So Boudica has silver, but I think we're already getting that. No, apparently we're not. But we don't currently have spare pearls, so I'm not exactly sure what we're doing with those. I didn't think we were trading all of them. So unless we're still blockaded, which surely we're not, I would have thought we'd still have some spare pearls. I'm a bit surprised by that. At least we're back in profit, that's something, but do need to bump up our happiness as soon as we can. And it's a little bit risky to advance here, but Ankara can't get us from there, so we can see a couple of sea beggars that can attack us, but no frigates. So, actually they can't attack us. Frigates could attack us, sea beggars can't, so that's okay. And I could bring this guy over to help take the town back, but he does need a bit of health. But no, I think it's fine, he's near enough to full health. And it's too risky to do anything with that worker in this particular area, so it makes sense that we keep funneling them all over to Constantinople. There's a hell of a lot of work to be done over here. And we still have to wait for 7 more turns before Constantinople is actually going to do anything, but once we do wait that out, it's going to be an extremely powerful city, so hopefully it will prove to be worth it. And Istanbul's about to get the castle, so it's going to be very hard to bring down soon, and our forces are slowly recovering their health, and the war to become the dominant religion is going to rage on. A couple of frigates there to be careful of, and then the sea beggar, so not necessarily going to be able to fend off the Dutch navy, but we'll see. Okay, great, so we've been helped out here by pretty much everyone we're not at war with, and surprisingly, the Dutch didn't vote on it at all, so it was fairly decisive in the end. Dutch were much more interested in embargoing city-states, which is really weird because I thought they were pretty much the kind of dominant diplomatic power right now. We seem to be at war with pretty much all of them. Some of them could just be leftover wars from our wars with Byzantium and Poland, but yeah, it does seem like most of them are allies of the Dutch, so I don't know what their motivation was for that. That's slightly strange. Can make peace with these guys at least. Okay, yeah, so the Dutch are friends with pretty much all the city-states, but for some reason they don't want anyone to be able to trade with them. We can produce cargo ships in 2 turns, which is pretty solid, but we're going to need trebuchets so we can actually push on Ankara. As wasteful as that is. The thing is, we can produce really quickly here. We want a university, definitely. Caravel is tempting as well, because that can help capture opposing units. I think it's between cargo ships and trebuchets and the university. But I think most urgently we need to go for a trebuchet. And this guy is going to need to mostly focus on repairing our luxuries. So let's go that way. Let's at least tentatively come out from Edern. Because face to face, head on, it's going to be a really tough fight to take out this navy, but The AI might be a bit reckless. That's certainly not beyond belief. So we'll see. Can do a nice amount of damage to the longswordsman here. Let's go for it. And then keep healing up with this guy. And then next turn he can pillage the tile, but he is going to get bombarded by the frigates, so that might have been a bit of a mistake. Need to be careful with the Great Prophet. We don't really want him to get captured, but I think he's pretty safe. In 2 turns' time, we should be back to happiness. It's been a bit too long, but if we seriously don't have any pearls spare, then there's not really much else we can do. So thinking about it, I could have actually moved the general in first, but I think he's only recently gained the ability to move that far over the water. Must be a recent tech we got, maybe compass perhaps, increases embarked movement. I'm just going to check because we can definitely move a bit further than before, as no. Astronomy, that's the one. Yeah, so astronomy lets us move a lot further with our land units on the water. Okay, here we go. About to get bombarded, I'm pretty sure. Maybe just by the 1 unit though, which is not going to be too bad. And they come into the attack, but they're not going to do that much damage. And we get a promotion for that. So we can finish off the longswordsman, but we should probably play it safe and head back into our own territory. First we'll pillage, and then we'll back up onto the cliff. And hopefully that should be safe. We can still get bombarded from here, but I don't think the Dutch are going to be able to do enough damage to us to actually take us out. And I should keep some kind of defense here, especially with these kind of Polish galleasses massing. Not necessarily massing on our borders, but they could definitely attack us. And they've already done it once. And we know they don't like us because they just tried to embargo us. So I could heal instantly, and I would if I were about to go for the push, but I think we should wait a little bit longer first. Although, it's going to take some time to heal up here. And I'm not really expecting to use these that much over the course of the rest of the game, so I'm just going to heal them up. Just check we're not at war with Kabul, which we're not. But Beggar, if it reaches us, I think it's going to pretty much wipe us out near enough 1 turn. If we send enough along, we might be able to just about win the fight. And then let's send the trireme along too, just in case it gives us a chance to capture it. And then this Beggar we'll start bringing along. It's got pretty good HP, so should be pretty risk-free. And this is a holy site, so definitely worth repairing. Okay. That seems fine. So we're about to get our happiness back, which I think we just did, so yeah, we have got the gems back, we've got our mines going again. And still seems to be unhappy. I'm not sure if it just hasn't updated yet. Interestingly, Poland has decided to go to war with France. I thought it was too good to be true if they were going to go for the Dutch, but that's still fine. As long as they're nice and distracted, then they won't come for us. And there is actually a Beggar going to come and attack us once again. But I'm not too worried about that. Longswordsmen do pillage one of our farms, but that's fine. We can probably wipe them out pretty quick. And of course, if we do attack them with our Janissaries, and if we can wipe them out, we immediately get all of our health back. So let's go for this. Effectively take no damage. And then one more turn to go till we get our Treb, so should probably hold back for now. Stay out of range of Ankara. And I'm just going to let this come a little bit closer. Because we've got a road here, we should be able to set up and fire with our trebs pretty much in one turn. I suppose the big risk really is the frigates. We need to make sure we're at least able to distract them, so might lose a couple of galleasses here. This is fairly risk-free. I don't think there's any way we can actually shoot at them this turn, because we're going to run out of movement points if we go for this. And you repair this, that's going to be +6 faith. 4 turns left to go until Constantinople starts working. She does, it seems to me, she does seem to be building a few more military units, but not going to panic just yet. The town should at least kind of be able to fight for itself, and yeah, what she currently has I don't think is enough. Great profit, I'm just going to keep it in our lands just to be safe. And I think that's pretty much all we can do. Yeah, we are back to being happy, so that's great. We're going to need to get our cocoa back, but should be able to do that pretty soon. And then probably in Istanbul. I'm not even sure we have a Colosseum in Istanbul, so that's very much overdue. But even if we do, we can build a zoo or something like that instead. That's okay. So this will put us at least headed in the direction of being in debt again, if we don't accept, but we can trade for some silver with Celts. Depends if we're more worried about happiness or income. I think I am probably more worried about income. I mean happiness, that's the one I mean. Yeah, I'm fine with this. So the Celts may just immediately offer us silver. If they have already traded it away, that's fine. We can just get the gold off Assyria instead. Okay, Levent has declared war on me. I don't think that matters too much. This, I think, is the Sea Beggar doing its thing. It doesn't do quite as much damage as I feared. I'm not sure I want to do this. I'm not sure if I can stop his missionaries from spreading their religion if I refuse. On the other hand, I think I can just immediately get a bit of a boost from this. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. But he was happy with 2 gold per turn, so maybe we just don't have an active declaration of friendship with him, but then I don't think it would allow us to ask if we didn't. I will take his gold. I don't really care that much about the whole religion thing. And Sea Beggar did a lot less damage than I thought. Yeah, I think we can just easily clear all this stuff out, as it does appear that he's going for a stronger push against Istanbul. Has done a bit of damage to it, but I don't think I was shown that when it happened. That's a little bit of a problem though, because he has got a fairly strong force here, but we have got our castle now. We do have most of our health back immediately. And we should, in all likelihood, be able to steal at least one of these ships. I think we want to tap these first with our crossbows if we can. But I think if we move to here, that doesn't count as being in the zone of control, so we should still be able to move again afterwards. And then let's just double check there's no river. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that works. So we'll do that. Bring these down. We'll take the upgrade to accuracy so we can do a little bit more damage. And then hopefully the Janissaries can take them out immediately, which they can't. That kind of sucks. Okay. That's not so good. But we can clean these out really easily. And then we're just going to focus this one down. Okay, it's now saying we can do it, so I think that's because of the flanking bonus. Okay, so that works out. The dilemma here is we could use the trebuchets to help take down the sea beggars if we're actually worried. I am a little bit worried because of the frigate coming in. That's going to help weaken us a little bit more, but we should be okay for at least a few turns. On the other hand, we actually didn't get the kill on the swordsman, so I feel a little bit cheated. And in that case, we're gonna have to take a shot from Ankara and from the frigate. So one of these Janissaries is going to get pretty weakened, but I think it should survive. And then we can focus on just weakening the sea beggar. We'll do that, and then we've got a 50% chance of taking it, which it looks like we have. No, we just sank it. Okay, bummer. Never mind. We could try and grab this one instead. Could also go for the frigate here. See how much damage I can do. So I think, by the looks of it, I am going to need to do the full complement of damage with all of these. If I move there, then I've lost all my movement points because I'm moving across the zone of control. But then it looks like there's no other way for me to actually attack him head on. That takes 2 turns apparently. This guy's going to be too weak. I'm not 100% sure if I can actually fire over the Kabul Galleass here. Looks like I can. But then I'm not quite strong enough to finish them off, so I'll probably just ignore this frigate and weaken this and attempt to capture it. Okay, we've captured it, that's great. And let's see what upgrades it has. If it has supply, that's perfect. Yep, so we can heal up 15 HP per turn. So this is the plan. In theory, we could steal this frigate too, and we could just sweep around and just keep stealing ships. I'm not sure how realistic that is. Also, we don't have much money. But in theory, it's an option. Part of the reason we're losing money is because we are blockaded currently. Get a mark in 2 turns. Depends if I think I need more defense here, but it's looking fairly solid for now. And I think we do need to get the market, just to be safe. That's okay. It looks like Byzantium's units have at least kind of moved back, which suggests he's perhaps not recruiting quite so many. I think I forgot to actually check with the Celts. I'm still going to say no. Okay, so he's offering me copper. That's just as good. Let's say yes. I was thinking not too long ago that Paris would be a fairly easy target, but things have kind of changed since then. I don't mind working with him for now. So Poland has managed to take one of France's towns, so it's looking pretty bad for France actually. These guys are moving in. Our sea beggar is, I think, about to go down. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Obviously got a pretty limited number of those. And I fear this guy could go down to the frigate. I think he will. No, just about survives, but unfortunately the swordsman actually moves off, which means we can't now use him to heal up. And a great admiral has appeared here. And we actually need the defense here. So I think we're going to have to pull away from Ankara. Yeah, because this is pretty scary. And we've lost our sea beggar, so we can't actually capture any of these ships unless we bring one back. I think it's just going to take too long. 3 turns to get back. The thing is, obviously if we do that, then we can't use it here. We do have 2 here though, but this one should probably focus on healing up. And then these guys, I think, yeah, they're going to be too far away to actually fire on the frigate. So I could think about sending them back to Istanbul instead to help defend it, but I think Istanbul is mostly fine. Constantinople will soon be usable. Yeah, I think realistically I'm just going to have to hold back for now on actually attacking Ankara. Should be reasonably easy for me to move everything out of range. I would like to attack this. If I could get the kill, I would of course get all my health back, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. I really need to focus the Trebs on bringing down the Dutch. So frigates, I think, are in theory the better unit compared to sea beggars, but obviously a frigate can't take our town, and in that case it does make sense just to try and bring them down as quickly as we can. The actual units that can damage our town or take our town. This can obviously be held off fairly easily, but we don't know what else is going to come through there. He could still send more. Got our holy site back, so once we can start working that, that's going to be a lot of extra faith per turn. And we'll also have some spare gems pretty soon. I could send these forward mostly as bait. I should at least attack with the Galleass because this guy is going to attack our crossbowmen either way. But it looks like we might be seeing the extent of his navy. Obviously, if the AI could move and shoot, they could take this as an opportunity to step out with their crossbowmen and finish off my Janissary, but they don't do that. And also, even if they did do that, I could easily take out their crossbowmen, so that's fine. So I don't think the market alone is going to make us enough money, but once the blockade's down, I think we should be okay. We've still got a few turns before we're actually in the red. It looks like another sea beggar's arrived. I don't think it's quite going to do enough damage on its own. Stand corrected. Okay, so hopefully they haven't stolen that off us. Attackers here I think we can hold off, but we're still going to have to wait for at least one more turn. I think. Got Eastern Orthodoxy back in Eden, and we're making our +8 per turn. Constantinople, 1 turn left of resistance. This guy could immediately get his health back. Let's see, so we can't actually capture any of these ships, so I think it's going to be more useful just to wipe them out. And yeah, he has actually captured our ship, so that's pretty annoying. This is a taste of our own medicine though. Let's see, how much damage can we actually do? Could potentially take the frigate still. But we have to clear this out first. Can potentially capture it with the trireme too. Being a galleass, it's not too strong. I think I'm gonna have to break the recording here because my laptop screen suddenly went extremely dim, which makes me very scared that it's going to overheat. So let's at least save the video file. Okay, I'm back. I am playing this game on a nearly 7-year-old laptop, so it's really on its last legs. So you can never really be too careful with that. I am planning to buy a new PC pretty soon, so this is probably the only series of this game I'm ever going to do on this PC, which is good because it can't handle it particularly well, to be honest. It's already overheated once, actually, during this series. Actually, the original part 1, I had to effectively scrap because the laptop crashed before I could finish recording it. This one, however, is actually going better than that one was, so that's completely fine. I think we should wipe this out. Looks like we can wipe this one out too. And then after that we should be good to actually make a push on Ankara, I think. It depends what we can do with this naval battle here, if we can actually win this or not. Whether we take this or not, which we actually sink it, which is not surprising, that was like a 75% chance of happening. That's fine, because we're still pushing. We denied him from stealing our ship. I think I will go for the frigate. And this is a little bit risky because Ankara can fire on us if we do this. But there's still that 50-50 chance we take it. If we do take it, then it's probably just going to fire on the frigate instead. And if we don't take it, we can just advance some of these units in, which actually we do take it, so that's great. We're about to run out of money. Wonder if we could perhaps... We don't really have any spare resources we can trade. We could trade away our last copy of something. We do need to make money somehow. Okay, that'll do. No, it won't. Okay, still 8, going down by 8 per turn. Need to get some of that money back. This guy seems to like us, but I think we've already given him pretty much everything we can. I might have to trade away my last copy of something. So we're about to get more gems, so we can actually do this. And then we're still going down 1 per turn, but we should be able to hold out for 3 turns. And then over here we could go for the lighthouse, which doesn't actually get us extra money, actually loses us money. So let's go for something that's going to improve our income, if we can. I don't think you need a harbour in the capital for your other harbours to work. I don't think so anyway. And then cargo ship I think is just too risky. I could keep recruiting units. I could also get a caravel so we can actually attempt to capture some of these attackers. Lots of choices, but we definitely need to find some way of getting our money back as soon as possible, so I might have to risk a trade route somewhere. If there's anywhere we can do it that's relatively safe, so nowhere from Istanbul. Edirne going to the east or Constantinople going to the east could work. Still a little bit risky, but if we just do the trade route with Celts there, that might just about work. So I think we're going to have to do that. Then Edirne can also produce a cargo ship potentially. There is an argument for going for the Colosseum, and The market will make us gold regardless of whether we're blockaded. Harbour's another option too, because we're not currently connected to the capital, so that should pay for itself. Plus it helps our trade routes, so let's do it. And then this guy is pretty healthy. We've got a few ships in range of Ankara, so we might as well go for the push. I'm just going to take the health for the same reason as last time. And yeah, let's go ahead and push. We'll immediately get all our health back after going for this, and then there's the swordsman there, which we can also use for some easy HP. Trebuchets have already moved though, but that's okay. I could go for the attack, but I think it's just going to get all that health back. But I guess there's nothing else we can really do, so why not? And then we're about 3 turns away from being able to build another pagoda, if we get Eastern Orthodoxy somewhere. Could go for a mosque if we get whichever religion it was with the mosques, because that helps our faith generate that little bit faster, but it's not as good for the happiness. So there is a risk here that the Sea Beggar can attack the same thing that Ankara attacks and then take it back again. But I think that's okay. Yeah, it looks like he might actually go for our Sea Beggar here. Unless he brings it down, which would make no sense, which he actually does. Shouldn't have done that. The Sea Beggar in the town there is not going to be any good for actually defending the town. Okay, so the peace treaty with Theodora has expired, but I don't think she's really going to be able to push on us that easily. The AI, whatever you want to call it, auto-governor thing, has decided to go with walls, which is exactly what I would have picked, so that's good. And then I think we're back to making money now, thanks to Constantinople being back up and running. And we're also getting 17 faith per turn, thanks to the holy site, so that's pretty great all around. Do need to check if there's anywhere we can actually build a pagoda. I don't think there is, because there's still just too much religious conflict going on. Can buy a university for 300 faith, and that is one of the more interesting things we can do. Must have inherited that because of Constantinople. That's probably more useful in a way, but I still like the idea of a cathedral. Thing is, we can produce a university on our own, so we don't need to go down that road. Whereas the only way we're going to get these religious buildings is by just outright buying them. Then annoyingly, I think they're going to blockade Edirne, and we don't have any actual defenders there. Could send this back. Yeah, that probably makes sense, because that can kind of respond either way, depending on which town is attacked out of those two. Then we'll repair the quarry. And on this occasion, I think we will send these things down to attack. So this guy can immediately get all his health back by attacking this. We can actually steal some workers too, if they don't run away. We can't actually attack the missionaries because the trireme is not even strong enough to do that. I think you can upgrade it. You can upgrade it into a caravel. So, you don't want to be too wasteful with it. This thing I think will pull slightly away. And we can pillage the tile, just to help keep this alive, but I think if we block off the sea beggar, then it shouldn't matter either way. And then we'll bring this forward. Back with that too. Move this down to here, set up, and then hopefully we can attack on the same turn, which it looks like we can't, so that's kind of screwed me a bit. Yeah, I think I could have done it with this one, but not with the other. Okay, that'll just have to do for now. I'm pretty confident we can still take the town. Can attack it with this, and honestly, since we haven't pillaged the tile, I think it does make sense to do that. And it looks like the Dutch Navy is pretty much all out. So with this thing, it looks like we can't attack this turn, which in theory could be something that's going to make mobility slightly more tempting. Let's see what we can do with this. See if we can find more Dutch units. Doesn't look like it. And I think we've pretty much repaired everything we destroyed as we took Constantinople, so that's great. There are still a few actual unworked tiles that we can work on. Unimproved tiles, I mean. And then this is going to attack Sea Beggar. And I can fairly easily kill off this Great Admiral if I want to, but I'll hold back for now. Frankly, I don't want his religion, so let's see if we can at least do a bit of damage to that as it passes through. And yeah, happiness is okay, income is okay, so I think we can be fairly happy with that. This thing I'm tempted just to heal it up immediately, because if nothing else it could work as a distraction, and I don't think we're going to do too much with it, so let's do that. Just so it can take an extra hit. Might still go down in like one shot, but we'll see. Assyria's denounced the Netherlands, that's good, so not everyone is a fan of them. I'm going to say no to this guy. I really don't trust him, and I don't want him spreading his religion. The Louvre is gone, so someone else has gone for navigation, which is not at all surprising on this map, and it looks like they're going to focus down the frigate, which sadly does go down. That's one of the only frigates we have, and they brought another one in, but I'm not sure if we're strong enough to go for this, or strong enough to actually take them out, at least quickly. We'll keep accepting this. We still need the iron so we can build our own frigates. And plus, I think we do still have to pay the iron upkeep of any frigates we do capture. But naval forces are looking a little bit thin over here. Let's see what we can do with the Trebs first. Not doing quite as much as I would have liked. So I think we have a choice. We can either thin out the navy, or we can take the town this turn, but we can probably also take the town next turn. There's also that risk that as soon as we take the town, they bombard it with their frigate and then capture it with their sea beggar, but I would hope we can hold that off. Okay, so in this town, there is definitely an argument to keep going for the cargo ships, but still a lot of potential for blockades, So probably better just to play it safe with either the lighthouse, or could go for the extremely overdue Writers Guild. Guess that's a little bit of extra culture, which we're going to need because our culture gain is pretty slow. University is another good choice. Don't think it matters too much, but yeah, I'm going to go for university because I would like to start catching up with these guys in science if we can. Pretty much start going for bombardment here. I don't think you want to split between targeting and bombardment. I think you've got to go all the way with one or the other. Then if we focus everything on the frigate, or the sea beggar even, we can probably take it. But do we want to do that, or do we want to try and take Ankara instead? Which would also take down the crossbowmen as an added bonus. Okay, so we've got Ankara back. We get a liberation bonus, so hopefully the other civs on the map like us slightly more now. It's got about half its HP left, so I think it should be able to take at least a couple of shots from the Dutch Navy. And we can protect our trireme if we want. I think this is pretty safe to go for. Let's weaken them slightly, as there is a frigate coming over, so maybe shouldn't have done that. Can protect this though. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. We've got our 3 starting towns back. We've got Constantinople. It looks fairly safe for now. We'll soon be able to potentially build a courthouse. I can't remember exactly how long that tends to take. There's no easy way to find that out. So we should probably wait until we have a slightly bigger happiness buffer first. Some archaeologists there that we can, I guess, capture. Another thing I could do with my Great General is I could steal the dies, and that saves me from having to think about whether to take the Hague. Don't think we need to decide just yet though. As this in theory is relatively safe now to send, because it's not like the Great Admiral can pillage it on his own. But still, I think it's going to be safer if we just send it to Constantinople. And then we do have enough faith to potentially go for the university, which is big, plus 33% science, plus 2 science from jungle tiles, obviously not relevant, but I do want that monastery, I really do. But that's solid. If we try to build it ourselves, bearing in mind we can produce a few extra internal trade routes, and we can actually easily boost our production a lot over the next few turns. So it's 10 turns to build. I feel like objectively the university is the right choice, even though it pains me. I'm going to do it. We are making quite a lot of faith. Once Eastern Orthodoxy comes back to Istanbul, we're going to get a lot more faith from the Pearls as well. So yeah, I think that does make sense. Yeah, I think that's the best option in the long term. Need to catch up on this science. And then we can't do anything with our gold. We can do something with this guy, but I'm not exactly sure what we should do with him. Looks like they never actually finished anything on the hill here. They were going to go for a customs house. I'm going to build a mine there. And at this point, I think we've pretty much beaten the Netherlands. Casimir's plotting against us, that's good to know. We've probably got enough to hold him off. I hope he's not going to attack us this turn. It doesn't look like he is. He would have more units on our border by now, I think. Plus he's already at war with someone else. Dutch Navy is going to attack Ankara. I'm pretty sure they can't take it. Yeah, they can't, so that's fine. We can now potentially steal the Sea Beggar from them, so let's have a go. Okay, Edern has sadly lost its religion once again, thanks to the Huns. And then we'll use the Sea Beggar on his, hopefully capture it, because we only have the one now. Damn. Okay, so we don't have the best naval melee units, which is going to make it kind of difficult to capture the Dutch ones. We still have this thing left alive, so we need to make sure we keep that nice and healthy. And we'll try and focus this down as best we can. Looks like we've got our own great admiral now. Janissary, let's just move them over there. Amphibious. I wouldn't normally consider it, but in this case... No, I'm still going to go for shock. And then let's put the crossbowman in here, and let's fire on this, which will actually kill it. Didn't think we'd do quite that much. I'm going to try something else instead. I'm going to step back out. I'm going to send Trebuchet across. I think it's going to do a little bit less damage to it because it's a unit. And then I'm not sure actually if the trireme is going to be strong enough to finish that off. But a missionary of Protestantism, which I think we'll just get rid of. If we send the trireme out, that is actually going to finish it off, so let's see if we can capture it. It's only a 50% chance. Oh, of course, we can't actually attack it because it's in the deep sea. So we'd have to upgrade first. Okay, maybe we can chase it down with the Sea Beggar next turn. And in the meantime, let's just go ahead and get the monument in Ankara. And let's just heal all of these up. Although I could actually send these after the worker, which I think does make sense. Plus, even if he does run away, we can steal the archaeologist instead. And then we'll send this back to defend Istanbul, just in case Poland does come for an attack, which I don't think they will, at least not until they're done with France. Speaking of which, Paris seems to be relatively healthy, so looks like they haven't completely wiped them out, which is good. Don't want Poland to get too strong. They're still clearly the leader, but they're now just over double our score, whereas before they were nearly triple, so it could be a lot worse. Our Great Admiral, I think, it's going to be too dangerous to send him out right now with the Dutch frigate right there. I wonder if we could perhaps produce a trireme in one turn and then take the frigate out, but I imagine at this point the trireme has been pretty much completely replaced by the caravel, which, yes, it looks like it has. Okay, that's fine. I can actually just immediately move him to Ankara if I want to. That's still a little bit too risky, so let's send him to Edern instead. And then the Great Prophet, we should wait until we have at least 300 faith before we do anything with him, because there's still just too many Great Prophets going all over the map, which is rather annoying. We still need to do something about the happiness. So we've actually run out of pearls by the looks of it, which is kind of hard to believe. Looks like one of our workboats got plundered down here. So if we can build one in one turn, then I would, but 2 turns is probably slightly too long. We'll wait for the university instead. And then I guess we'll just have to find some other nice quick way to boost our happiness, because it's a little bit of an issue right now. It's not easy to see where that's going to come from. I could change the production from the monument to something else, but this town I don't think can help us, so it would have to be Istanbul. I might actually have to do this. I think, realistically, we don't want to be unhappy right now, so I need to sort that out. But I think we've done enough for this part, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. In the next part, we will be either taking the fight to the Dutch or ending the war with them and getting our trade and cargo boat empire going once again, in which case we should be able to start catching up with Poland, although I would not be surprised if they decide to declare war on us once again. We will see. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.